Welcome to episode 133 of the Inside Byte. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey, Tim, I'm doing well. Can't complain. Life's good. Everything's cool. Pretty ordinary week, I would say.
Things are, like I was saying before the show, popping off really good with Team Pensacola.
Yep.
Just put another video out, have 3 more to put out, plus 2 interviews, one next Friday, the one after that. And then I got a bunch, like 4 or 5 more in the bag of just need to set up dates. So a lot of working on with Team Pensacola stuff. So again, Team Pensacola's YouTube or teampensacola.com. Check us out. But when I was doing the notes, some new things came in this morning. So I just wanted to go over the new stuff today before we really even get into, which our main topic today is going to be on these 3 big games coming in: Tekken 8, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Talking about them, going over their review reception, stuff like that. But this morning we got a new Dragon Ball Z. Again, they're calling it Sparking Zero, which Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi, something. But it makes people think that like Sparking Zero is something different, even though that's a more direct translation from the Japanese version.
I see.
If you were to call it that. So I guess they're trying to be more authentic there, but that's not how we know it. And I think it's just hurting their hype level to be calling it Sparking Zero. Regardless, if you look at the image here, so they showed a trailer of just Goku fighting Vegeta, but they gave about 15 forms to each. And so when you look at this, like at the end of the video, they show like character pop-ins and then it zooms out a lot. And if you were to count all the tiles, you're looking at about a little over 150 of them. So I'm assuming that's the case because even with Budokai Tenkaichi 3, I think we had over 100 characters. So it's going to be pretty exciting to play a new 3D DBZ fighter with this many characters and stuff like that. I'm pretty hyped just because I used to play these all the time growing up. So
yeah, I used to love
stuff.
those games, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those games are great.
And then we got a State of Play announcement today as well. So we'll be getting it this upcoming Wednesday. So, I mean, that's literally, by the time this episode goes up, this will already be out. So they say here, tune in YouTube Switch. That'd be funny. Tune in on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time for 40 minutes of coverage with 15 plus games, including extended looks at Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin, plus more from talented game developers from around the world. So there's that to look forward to. In terms of
no first party stuff, sounds like maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you think if there was, they would have said so here, but who knows?
Right.
The weird thing about, like we were saying literally last week, was just we don't really know much on PlayStation. Well, we know of Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin, but those aren't first-party titles. Those are third-party exclusives. So I am curious, like, PlayStation, again, they have at least 10 studios. I mean, I want to say maybe even 20 at this point. I don't know the sure number. I wonder if that's a quick search. Like, how many first-party PlayStation? So, 21. Okay.
21? Okay.
And we still don't really know what's coming out of any of them outside of Insomniac, which I guess we know the roadmap for the next 10 years, which is
long time.
Marvel stuff, which, I don't know, a little sad on my part just because Resistance, we know for sure that's not coming back. And then on top of that, I just want new stuff. So, like, new ideas, you know what I mean?
Do you think that if they had not been leaked at all and we learned about these projects as they were coming, do you think people would feel differently about it? Like if it wasn't thrown at us all at once?
Honestly, I think it would have been worse. I think it actually worked in their favor. Not the leak as a whole, but just in this aspect, I think it worked in their favor because at least now we know. Because you imagine after about the 3rd Marvel game, people are going to be like, hey, what's going on here?
What's going on here? Yeah.
That's how I see it, but I don't know.
No, it's a fair point.
Yeah. You have any let's say, prediction on something they may show here? Because again, I'm at a
Um,
loss on what.
yeah, I feel like they can't do one of these without some sort of ending last announcement or something, right? They always do that. I would honestly, the state of play, a lot of them I've missed, and I've just caught up on the news after, so I can't say that with any certainty. I know Nintendo always does that. I don't know about PlayStation, so
They don't. I
no, not
mean,
really. Okay,
sometimes they'll have like a banger at the end, but it's not a normality. Like
sure, sure. I don't
yeah.
know. What's the name of the studio that remade Demon Souls? Blue Point. What are they doing?
Oh, right.
You
Now
know?
they're clearly had to be
Well,
working on
they're
something,
first party
right?
now, I guess. So
They
never
are
mind, I
first
guess.
party, and they're dedicated to making remakes for them, is
Mm-hmm,
what they
mm-hmm.
said. So, what that remake would be? I mean, what do you think it could be? A remake, something
Um,
for PlayStation. Hopefully, it's Bloodborne, right?
I mean,
Just
that would
do
be
it.
amazing.
You already did Demon Souls. You clearly know. We all know you know what you're doing. We accept. We liked it. So just do the same with Bloodborne.
Did the Last of Us 1 remake, that was last year, right?
Yeah, and then we got Last of Us
Okay.
2 remastered here about a week ago.
Right. So Last of Us 1 remake came 10 years. 10 years after the original, right? So Bloodborne, I mean, we're nearing 10 years now. It's about to hit 9
Are
years
we?
in like a few
Oof,
months.
man, I
Yeah.
feel time's flying. Dang,
Yeah, in
that's wild.
in March it'll be 9 years. So
Okay, okay,
it's crazy, you know.
yeah.
And we have gotten nothing. Like Last of Us at least got a remastered version, got a remake, patches.
Well,
We've
normally I
got
wouldn't even
nothing.
be asking for this because a game, I would want a game to technically be even older before you even do
Right.
such a thing.
I agree.
But Bloodborne's 30. That's the whole problem. So
That's the big problem.
they won't just like release a 60 FPS patch. If they did, I'd be totally okay with that. Whatever. I'll play 1080, 60, fine. Just give it to me. But the
I
fact
agree.
that I'm just not playing this at 30, and I still have it. I tried a
No.
few times, got halfway through. I really like it, but
Right.
last I played it, I was like, it won't be that long. I'm sure they'll do it, you know.
Yeah.
And
I've
they
been
just
saying that
still
for so
haven't.
long.
And now I'm just like, do I go back and just finish it? I
Like
don't know.
I truly wonder, seriously, what are they thinking there, right? The game sold very well. It's very highly regarded. Why not?
The
Just
whole point of
it,
the game is action.
it
Like,
can't be that much of a drain on their resources to just put 60 FPS in it at least. To
yeah.
me, that I don't see, or a PC version. I don't see how that could be some sort of huge project.
I guess some
Uh,
people argue like the whole game was built under the mindset of 30, so it gets really difficult when you try to do 60 and but like so I mean, I don't know. The same could
I
be
don't know.
said about the original Dark Souls, but they
Right, right.
did.
It's the same idea, and they did
So,
that. So
I don't know.
who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about the
Yeah,
state
state
of
of
play. I guess
play.
we'll
I
have to wait and
mean,
see.
what well, no. I was about to say like what if we could just get a resistance announcement anyway?
That'd be awesome.
What they could do, I mean, yes, we got the leak, so I highly doubt it because it would just be up in there. But what if they, after the fact, because people seeing the reception of leak, what if they decided to be like, hey, let's at least announce that we'll go ahead and do the trilogy, right? Just clean them
Yeah,
up, have a team of just a few people work on it, just make sure you can get it all looking good, running good, whatever. You don't have to spend too much time on it. And
yeah. Put a
at
small
least
team on it.
just like do that for us.
Yeah, yeah. Put a small team on it and let them take their time. Right, no rush.
Yeah.
There you go. You'll have something else cooking
But I
while
think
you're.
it would be smart. I usually wouldn't want an announcement so early, but even if they just said, hey, we're starting work on this, and even if we got a year or two later, it would make a lot of people happy because we got the leak, and
Right.
this would be something that could sort of help with that.
Sure, I agree.
Like, I
Yep.
think that'd be cool. But anyway, I'm not expecting that to see this here. I really don't know what I'm expecting to see here. Maybe Insomniac Games, yes. They did Sly Cooper, right? What if we could get like a Sly comeback? That'd be cool. Again, not expecting, but that'd be cool.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I like that.
Anyway,
I guess we'll have to wait and see because it sounds like the first party stuff is not going to be there. I don't know.
okay, let's go ahead and get into these Tekken 8, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Is this any of these three something you want to play?
So I guess I'll start with Like a Dragon. The only reason I won't play that, I'm sure it's a good game. It's just I haven't played any of the others, and I'm just not jumping into that right now. Tekken 8, I have interest in, but again, I usually only juggle one fight at a time. But I do want to eventually play that. Prince of Persia, I really do want to play now, but I'm trying to have some
Okay.
discipline and just wait. But Prince of Persia really, really looks like a game I would really enjoy. So yeah,
Yeah, and then
trying to wait that one out.
the reviews and stuff aren't out yet, but Persona 3 Reload is hitting Friday as well. So I did want to mention that. But we're going to go into these three games since we have reviews of all three, and they look to be doing really well. So first here, Tekken 8, 90 on OpenCritic. Pulled three random reviews from the page. So IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, said Tekken 8 is an incredible evolution for the series with tons of single player content, an excellent suite of training tools, a great online experience, and exciting new mechanics that make Tekken more dynamic than ever. Eurogamer gave it a 5 out of 5, saying Tekken 8 is a marked improvement over Tekken 7 and a perfectly executed balancing art, keeping older players happy while revealing its trademark freedom to newcomers. And then Game Informer gave it an 8.3 out of 10. As a complete package, Tekken 8 doesn't reach the heights of recent rivals like Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1, but when the match begins, you're exploiting openings to unleashing flashy combo strings and air juggles. It remains a thrilling, if very familiar, one-on-one experience. So that's it with Tekken 8. I am excited for this. I'm not going to buy right now because I have a lot that's happening now. So I'm finishing up. I'm more than halfway through at this point of Star Ocean Second Story R, which I'm really, really, really liking. And now I'm just about to get a whole bunch of RPGs. So I feel like I would say I'd be burnt out on RPGs, but I've played hundreds and I've never once felt burned out by them. So I don't think that's gonna happen. But right when I'm finishing that up, I then have Persona 3 Reload, like I was just mentioning, Grand
Yep.
Blue Fantasy Relink, which I think looks really awesome. I want to see what the reviews are going to hit on that. I wonder if we have that now because that's right
Curious.
around the corner. That's the first here in a few days. Let's see. I mean, should I be worried because this game is coming out the first? Let's see. Anything? No, nothing yet. Actually saying released on January 29th. So that's today. Is that the case? When does this game come
Today?
out? No, okay, February 1st. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, that's a little maybe a little worrying there, but I really really like the demo.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
anyway, um got that. We got Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth as well. So between those, I'm RPG'd out. And Like a Dragon was so long, 7, I never finished it. And I played a lot of it. I really liked it, but man, it just drags so much. Anyway, so the last thing I want to be doing is playing the next one of that, at least until
Yeah.
I finish 7, if I ever do. So anyway, but it's sitting at a 90.
4 out of 5. Violent Stakes once again meet zany shenanigans in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, the series' much improved second RPG. I'm so confused at this point with all the games that they have, but I know there is. I know they've made it easy for newcomers. I know they've made it easier, I should say. But yeah.
Yeah, the whole series is on Game Pass. They did 0. They remade 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2, 3. I want to say maybe 1, 2, and 3 they remade, and then 4, 5, and 6 aren't. But I guess they're new enough to where they don't feel they need to. But I see some people complain about that. And then 7 or 8 is next gen sort of reworks there or already made for the current gen. So apparently the only rough patch there would be like 4, 5, and 6 of that, maybe that in between late PS3, early PS4. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. I'll hit one more here. IGN 9 out of 10. Sprawling, enthralling, and packed with dynamic brawling like a dragon Infinite Wealth isn't just the best turn-based Like a Dragon game, it's one of the greatest games in the entire series. That's high praise. Very good.
Yep.
Sounds like a good game, man.
Games rated R+, 4 out of 5. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is sublime RPG with a fantastic combat system, absorbing stories, and at times fascinating story if it wasn't let down by its drip-fed narrative and heavy nostalgic leanings. So,
Okay.
sounds like you definitely just need to be keeping up with the series. Well, I wouldn't say in entirety, but this is definitely a direct sequel to 7, which 7 was quite the refresh. So it helps knowing previous games, but you don't have to when it comes to 7. But with Infinite Wealth, I would definitely play 7 before playing 8, kind of deal there.
Makes sense.
And then we have Prince of Persia sitting at an 87 on OpenCritic. Again, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is sitting at a 90. And then read some reviews here from Prince of Persia. IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Returning to a 2D perspective lets Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown perfectest controls and combat while capturing everything that was great about the heyday of the series. Game Informer gave it a 9.5 out of 10. The Last Crown makes it hard to put the controller down, constantly urging players to follow its path just a little further. Following the persistent pull to explore more of Mount Quaff is easy, though thanks to how good it feels to do so. Between its first-rate platforming and engaging combat and progression, The Lost Crown various parts coalesce into a sublime loop. Gameplay is king, and this Prince of Persia understands that. And the Metro Gaming Central gave an 8 out of 10, saying it bears little resemblance to any of its predecessors, but The Lost Crown is one of the best Metroidvania games of recent years and a highly enjoyable challenge. Now, I've been playing Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, and just know I'm further along now, and this game really reminds me of when I was playing like Metroid Dread.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of differences because one is like shooting and missiles and all this mess. But I'm telling you, they both like, I think, pretty similar qualities. Let's just say that. I lean towards, if I had to pick between the two, I would say Metroid over it. But again, I beat Metroid, where this, I'm still just a long way to go until I'm finished. So we'll see by the end of it. But when I'm playing it, it's just giving me like, I feel it really is great quality. And I feel this is a big surprise to me because I wasn't expecting it at all. I wasn't even gonna pick this up or even care to play it, but just glad I went on a whim and did so anyway, because this is like, I don't know, I feel like I always have a hard time with Metroidvanias, even like some of the all-time greatest, like Symphony of the Night. I played it and beat it, but I don't know, think it's one of the greatest games of all time. And every time I go back to play it, I like lose interest pretty quickly or whatever. But for some reason, I would say Bloodstained for, I don't know why, and the Castlevania like GBA DS games, I really took a liking to because of the way they do the upgrades. And then Bloodstained does a lot of that same like way they do the upgrades there too. So maybe that's why I like it. But between Super Metroid and between this latest one of Dread, I'm trying to think of any other Metroidvanias I really love. Like, again, Hollow Knight, like, I keep trying, and I don't think it's too hard. I just get lost constantly. And so I eventually get bored because I'm spending hours not knowing where I'm going or what to do, and I keep, like, losing interest because of that. So I keep having a really hard time with that. But Dread kept me along at a really great pace, and this in a similar vein of I'm really enjoying this a lot, and one of my favorite like Metroidvania experiences.
Okay, I'm considering maybe in between when I finish Final Fantasy 15, playing that in between, I jump into Octopath because there's two big RPGs. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I really want to play it though. It looks good.
Okay, well that's it of going over those. All
right,
we'll get into the news here, and you can take on this Palworld stuff here if you want.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, there's a little graphic here that shows over 1 million people. I mean, what is that? Almost 2 million people. Jesus. Playing 39 minutes ago, 24-hour peak was over 2 million slightly, and all-time peak 2.1 million. That's ridiculous. So the Pokemon Company issued a statement on Palworld, Earlier this evening, the Pokemon Company issued a press release seemingly addressing the recent conversations surrounding new Steam early access release Palworld and its suspiciously familiar-looking collectible creatures. We have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 2024. We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in the game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon in its world and to work to bring the world together through Pokemon in the future, the company states in closing. 8 million people purchased Palworld in its first 6 days. Now, this whole thing, I'm so back and forth on it, right? Like at first I'm like, oh, okay, well, a lot of those look just like it, right? But then I saw a lot of the gameplay and I'm like, okay, that's totally different. And also, I saw a meme that was kind of funny, but I was like, it's kind of true. Like I was looking at Dragon Quest, excuse me, and a lot of the creatures, and then they show like Pokemon and how they're very similar. And I'm like, do you have any grounds to really do anything with this? Or is it just, you took an idea, you ran with it, just like they do with other games, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what to
I mean, I
really think on it.
think the pals in this game look a lot more similar to Pokemon than, let's
Sure.
say, Pokemon do to Dragon Quest things. But yes, it is in that same conversation of like, well, everyone's kind of taking from somebody.
Right.
And I guess the only, saying, I don't know, Monster Rancher, if you remember that IP, or Digimon,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? Like, they're all still, you could technically maybe all pull from, I guess, Dragon Quest. But I don't know. It does make me wonder, are these close? I mean, they are pretty damn close, though. If you look at a lot of different comparisons of like the Pokemon compared to what they look in Power World, but is that enough to like try to like sue the game or shut the game down just because your creatures look similar? I don't know. I genuinely wonder. Unless
Yeah.
it's actually a straight copy or you're able to prove that they like stole assets or anything like that, I guess there's really nothing that they could do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're probably right. I would be surprised if anything comes from this. This game got announced a long time ago, and I'm sure they're not like, oh, we had no idea this game was coming. They shut down things that are, made by 10 people that are really low key. I doubt that they didn't
Yeah,
have any
we've
idea
had
about this
trailers
game.
for this game for like a year, maybe even two. If Pokemon did think that, they would have already shut it down because it's not like the trailers weren't popular enough or anything of that either.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Power World is number one at peak. Like, just in the day, they hit a little over 2 million players. And then, so I pulled like top 10 just to give a comparison. So, like, Power World's number one. Now, at the time I took the screenshot, Counter Strike 2 was at number 2 at a million players, where Power World's at 2 million. Dota 2 at 714,000. PUBG Battlegrounds 538,000. Baldur's Gate 3 200,000. Grand Theft Auto 5 180,000. And is Shroud at number 7 at 150,000, which I don't know what this Shroud game is. Do you know what that is? In Shroud, that number
Oh,
7 on that list.
I have seen it pop up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is it? Do you know what it is?
It's a survival game. I just
Okay.
saw quick screenshots of it, but I saw someone say something like, "Oh, even though Power World's blown up, don't forget about Enshrouded," and I guess it's pretty popular as well. So,
But yeah, outside of creature designs, it is nothing like Pokemon. It's not even close. So if you're thinking of playing Power World because they may be doing something with this Pokemon idea but more interesting, I don't think you're gonna find that here. I mean, I guess in the level of you roaming a land and capturing creatures, sure, that is the case. So
right, of
I guess
course,
let's make
of
that
course.
clear. If that's all you care about when it comes to Pokemon, I could see then like this being, which I think a better game than Pokemon has been the last, I don't know, I'd say 2 or 3 gens. I mean, well, Sun and Moon I didn't really like or anything past that. I'd say X and Y was like the last Pokemon I genuinely liked. Well, Violet, let me separate the two because I actually do like quite a lot. What's a Scarlet and Violet? That's what it
Oh
is.
yeah, Scarlet Violet.
I do like those games, but I don't think they're like good to recommend because they have a lot of tech issues, right?
Right, right.
to where the last one I would straight up, oh, I really like. Plus, I would recommend be way back on like X and Y on 3DS. It was like the last
Mm-hmm.
gen I thought was really good.
Yep. Yep. Those were good games.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Okay, there's no way, which Nintendo aside, there's no way the Pokemon Company isn't seeing Palworld and seeing these players and at least getting the understanding of like when they see people in comments are being like, man, like dogging on Pokemon a ton, being like this game's finally like doing
Right.
interesting things and it's so much better and all this. They got to be seeing this stuff, and it makes me
Of
wonder
course.
like,
Yeah.
do you think that they may take into consideration of actually for real changing up the formula, or at least actually
Uh,
making a more, instead of it looking like an N64 game still, like,
I think it just really depends on how this all goes. If Pal World is around for, a year, people are still talking about it, hyping it up, and then they're getting ready to make their next game. Yeah, maybe. But if they, I don't think this will happen, but let's say they come after Pal World, they shut it down or something, Pal World has to completely, start its game over or something crazy like that, then no, I think they probably wouldn't. But I don't
honestly,
think that
all
will happen.
Palworld would have to do is just change the creatures, because that'd be the only thing that Pokemon could claim them on. And so they have all the work anyway and the engine built and whatever, whatever. I don't think it'd be a huge setback, let's say, if that did happen, if they just rework the monster design. That's all they would
Yep,
really have to
I agree.
do. So that wouldn't be too bad of a thing on their part. So, but
I agree.
yeah, I do think the Pokemon Company is looking at this, and I feel whether they like to admit it or not, it probably is going to push them to make a better game, just because they're seeing how many people would just, if it was actually legit Pokemon and they made a big grand scale 3D open world RPG with like the latest, it just looking like a current game. I mean, people would flock. People flock to what they currently do now and still sell more games than anybody else. I think because these numbers are so incredibly through the roof, and we talked on it last week, but it was still pretty fresh out. Now that this has been a lot longer out and the numbers are only rising, I don't think this is just a quick little, oh, this is neat, let's try this out, and then end up not really liking it. People are actually super digging this game, even having so much time into it at this point. So I don't think this is really going to go away, and I think it has a really good chance of having the Pokemon Company genuinely try to make a better game. Just because they, not in the sense of trying to outcompete somebody else, but just in the level of, oh, if we did make a better game, we could make even more money and have even more people like our stuff, because the numbers are incredibly high here of people clearly
Yeah, yeah,
wanting this.
the numbers are totally ridiculous. That's why I'm saying they it might be something that they are kind of noting more than they typically would. Usually they probably see a game that has some cool ideas. Whatever, we don't care. But
Yeah.
this, with the attention it's getting, could be different. So,
Okay.
all right.
You take this next one.
Yeah. So this kind of annoys me because, of course, it's a little too late, right? I wish I had gotten this when I was playing the game, but Horizon Forbidden
Yeah,
West
you just
Complete
beat it,
Edition.
right?
I know I beat it
Well, the
like I don't know
DLC, right? You
the
played the DLC
DLC.
and beat
Yep.
it. Yeah,
Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition comes to PC on March 21st. The news comes via the PlayStation blog, where they reveal that both the base game and the 2023 expansion Burning Shores will come to the new platform as a package deal. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition on PC features unlocked frame rates, customizable graphics settings, a broad range of performance-enhancing technologies, including NVIDIA DLSS 3 upscaling and frame generation. AMD FSR and Intel XeSS are also supported. Players with high-end hardware and extra headroom, image enhancing NVIDIA DLAA is also available. The game leverages direct storage for quick loading times on PC. I absolutely loved Horizon Forbidden West. I know some people were down on it. I thought it was better than the first one in pretty much every single way. So yeah, I'd say definitely play this if you have not and you have a PC. So
my problems were yet again story, but again, like, maybe it got better, but I played 15 if not 20 hours, and it's I still wasn't interested. So I don't really like the main character either, like, at all. She's very Look, I get it. You're trying, you need to portray that you're maybe in a dark place in your mind and you're maybe a little sad or something. But man, does it really like you're already brought down and all that. And then the story isn't really that interesting to me so far. So, and then every time I'm like going around talking to people, accepting quests, all of that seems pretty boring. The only part I liked was just the combat and the exploration of like going through the open world and fighting all the beasts and stuff. That was cool. But anytime I had to do
Yeah,
any
yeah,
main story stuff or even the side stuff was even worse of like I was pretty bored. So
yeah.
that's
That's
my
fair.
problem.
No, that's totally fair. For me, it was like, it started off a bit slow and it started really pulling me in the more I went. So hopefully people give it a shot, see what they think. So
But yeah, playing 120 frames, like the combat's really good in this game and that'd be a hell of a lot of fun, like especially mountain stuff, shooting things and all that on 120 FPS sounds pretty dope. That would be cool.
if I could run it at 120 or something, man, that'd be pretty amazing. Especially with those new cards, all the stuff you can do.
I mean,
I feel like you
regardless,
make
I
it.
mean, I would lower whatever settings I needed to
Hmm.
just to get 120 out of this game. So,
Right, right. No, I totally agree. That'd be sick. So I'm glad. I'm glad they're bringing it over now. If only they bring over one game that came out in 2015 that we just talked about, Bloodborne.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be the one.
One of these days.
Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete comes to US theaters for 2 days next month. Square Enix has partnered with Fathom Events and Sony Pictures to bring the director's cut of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children to theaters for the first time. Premiering ahead of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's launch on February 29th, the theatrical sequel to the original Final Fantasy VII will get its first run in US theaters for just 2 days. Dubbed Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete, this expanded version of the 2005 CG film is 26 minutes longer than the original. Square
Oh,
Enix
that's cool.
states it features roughly 1,000 revised scenes with expanded themes and improved visuals. Before the film starts, though, fans who arrive early will witness exclusive introductory content such as a History of Final Fantasy VII presentation that explains its ties to Advent Children. Gameplay footage of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be shown off, along with new interviews about the project with Final Fantasy VII Remake creative director and Advent Children director Tetsuya Nomura. Rebirth director and producer. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children takes place 2 years after the events of the original Final Fantasy VII. Cloud and his friends tackle mysterious illness spreading across Midgard, along with the appearance of the new enemies tied to a familiar foe. Advent Children became a popular film due to its, at the time, impressive CG animation and action scenes. Newcomers who hopped on the series with Remake should be warned that Advent Children more or less spoils the ending of Final Fantasy VII. So even though Rebirth may potentially steer the narrative in other directions, you may want to keep that in mind if you'd rather stay in the dark. If you miss this theatrical run, you can always pick up the enhanced 4K Blu-ray of Advent Children Complete that dropped a few years ago. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete will play in 650 theaters nationwide on 2 days, February 21st and 22nd. Showing on the 21st will play the English dubbed version. Showings on the 22nd are the English subbed. You will see if the film is playing in your area if you visit Fandom's website. So, I do want to see the English dub because that is like I watched it first in Japanese, and some like a fan's translation on like a really crappy video quality way back when it first released when I was like in high school, sort of deal. Watched it a ton of times, but the one that I always go back and watch if I do want to watch it, I do like the English dub quite a lot. I think the voice acting's good there. So I always prefer that. So I guess I'm going to go the 21st. I went and looked in my area. It's definitely coming here. So I'm
Okay.
super excited. And I will be going to this and watching this. So if you just go to it right there, so fandom, because I mean you only get two chances here. You either get the English dub or the English subbed, but you only get one chance at really watching it. So it'd be really cool to see it like
Mm-hmm.
super high quality in the theater, all that. That'd be
Right.
neat. I'm down.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but yes, people, if you have not finished Final Fantasy VII and you're playing remake or like the first time and you don't know much on the story, do not go watch this movie. It's gonna spoil. I mean, it just spoils the end of Final Fantasy VII. I guess you could be okay with that, but there's certain things I don't know. Like, well, people who played Final Fantasy VII remake,
Mm-hmm.
Rufus, the new president at the end there, he's a big part in this as well. And there's a lot of things in this because this takes place 2 years after the end of the game, and Final Fantasy VII all leads up to this moment with Meteor and all of this stuff. So I really don't think it'd be a good idea to watch this if you haven't finished
If
Seven.
you haven't, yeah, yeah, it might not be the best idea.
But regardless, I'm hyped. This would be really cool, and then just in time for the game to come out because um, let's see here. Okay, if you don't want any spoilers on Final Fantasy VII, the original game, skip ahead 1 minute. I'll probably be even shorter than that, but just skip ahead 1 minute to be safe. And I'm gonna watch the time here because it just turned 6:18. Okay, Final Fantasy VII remake is not a remake, but a sequel, and takes place even after Advent Children. So it's Final Fantasy VII, then you have Advent Children. Then you have Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is part 1, 2, and 3. All takes place after the fact. So they just went back in time in little bits. And that's why you have the ghosts and stuff like that, because stuff, it already implied that it already took place. And now it's going back in time, trying to mess and change certain things. Okay. But everything being said and shown and all that, all still technically is taking place after the fact, even after Advent Children. So think of Final Fantasy VII Remake as part 3 to Final Fantasy VII, if that makes sense in your head. And I'll end it there.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I'm no spoilers, of course. A little bit unfamiliar with some of the details of the way that things have gone in the game, just because I haven't played everything that leads up to it. But I'll fill in the gaps
For
with
people who
some.
want to know, the best thing you can watch, and I will put it in the description of this episode, but let me go ahead and find it. It's Maximilian getting on
Oh,
Easy Allies and
okay,
them discussing it, and he breaks it all down.
okay, cool.
There's like layers to it, and he gets deeper and deeper and deeper into it as it goes. Here it is. Spoiler mode. It is 2.5 hours. And when you
Whoa,
watch it, you will understand why it's that long, because it really does need to be all explained that in depth. And it goes into anything and everything you could possibly want, because there's a whole lot of Crisis Core has a lot of bits. There's the I want to say Last Crisis little anime thing. There's a lot of Final Fantasy VII stuff, and
mhm.
he sort of goes over it, summarizes it, goes into nitty gritty. Easy Allies is spitting out questions left and right, and he's explaining
Okay,
this and explaining that. A lot of this at the time, this was in 2020, okay? And he was saying, well, let's say 80% of it is him just explaining stuff, but 20% is like theories on like, well, I think this but I'm not, we don't have confirmation on this or confirmation on that. All of those things, by this point in time, many have already been confirmed, and he was correct. There hasn't been anything that he says in here that has been proven incorrect. Let's say that. And there's probably only like 2 or 3 things that he mentioned that just haven't been proven yet. But most of this, either we already know to be true if you know enough about the material, or have been proven after the fact. So, but it is
all
Final
right,
Fantasy VII Remake spoiler mode with Maximilian Dude that Easy Allies posted. So go watch
okay.
that. And again, it's a doozy, but it will answer anything and everything you would want to know about what's going on here.
So do they? I'm assuming they talk about all the other games too, like
Yes,
Crisis Core and everything. And do they
because you
give
have
sort of
to.
a?
You have to be able to like talk about specific characters because there's very very important things about like how the goddess even works,
Okay, so
and stuff like that.
let me type this in. Maximilian Dude spoiler mode.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII remake spoiler mode. Maximilian Dude.
Yep. That's it.
Okay, so if I watch this whole thing,
This is
I'll
the
be pretty caught
Bible.
up on. Okay, okay. All right,
This is
I'm
the
gonna watch it. I'm
Bible
gonna
of
listen
Final
to it.
Fantasy VII.
I can't believe we're so close. By the way, like that's crazy. We're only a month away.
And which I would really urge people to watch this as well because now we're getting Rebirth, and this is going to be all new material. Final Fantasy VII Remake was going over old stuff because they're battling the Time Ghost and not trying to change this and da. All that got broken by the end of the game. This is all new going forward. Now they're going to go through the same areas, all that, because they're still in the same land, but there's no telling. Like, I'm imagining some beats may play out similar just because of how things work, of just like where things are located on a map and in their minds, right? They haven't done any of these actions yet, so by default they may do this or that and maybe go to certain locations in the same order or something like that. But that's the only reason it would be similar, because otherwise do know it's split. Like, these are not the same people. If that
Yep.
makes sense. This is a
Yeah.
whole other reality taking place here.
I played the original Final Fantasy VII, and I played and I watched Advent Children, but I haven't played any of the other games. So this will be good to refresh my memory on everything. And I played Remake, but it's been a few years, so
Yeah, yeah.
that'll be a nice way to get
Now
all
I'm
caught up.
wondering, like, I mean, I'm saying, hey, I'd like to play all this stuff. It would be cool if I could go and play Remake before this comes out, but I don't know. In me, it's pretty fresh in my head. I don't think I need to replay it, only because I really don't. I think those side quests really bog the game down, and there's some areas to where it's like forced filler, to where like, okay, I just won't accept the side quest. Okay, but there's areas to where you go
Right,
like a few hours, certain segments, of just trying to get to the next spot. That's super
right.
drag, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't feel like experiencing those things again, even though the highs are so great in that game. Uh, what I would love is if somebody, maybe there is like a mod of Final Fantasy VII on PC to where you can cut the filler, play like
Oh
non-filler
yeah,
version of the game. That'd be
probably something
hilarious.
like that out there by now.
Anyway,
That's funny.
okay.
All right.
Well, hyped for that. Definitely gonna go watch that. And now here's the thing: they said enhanced 4K Blu-ray of Advent Children Complete that dropped a few years ago. I don't think that's true. I think there's a 1080p Blu-ray that released a
Ah,
few years
okay.
ago, but I don't think there's one in 4K. I think that one is either recently came out or about to come out. Hold on, Blu-ray. No, it's out. I just could
It's
have
out.
sworn there
Okay.
was an issue about it or something because I don't know.
Hmm.
Whatever. It did come out in 2021. There is a 4K Blu-ray of it,
Okay.
so that's neat. Anyway, all right. That's it for the news. We can get to what we're watching, what we're playing here.
Okay. I'll go first because I've just been playing the one game, Final Fantasy 16. So I have played so much of this game lately. I probably put honestly this weekend, I probably put like 15 hours into it. Like I'm just obsessed with it now, you know? It's such a weird case because everything I said about this game is still true, but I've just come around on it. I really think it's actually a very good game. I don't know. I've come like full circle on it, you know? Let's start off with the things that I already said were good. The music is incredible. Like it just gets better and better and better. So that's an obvious one, right? Um, the characters, Clive's character specifically, has gone from this is a really good job to like one of the best characters ever in any game I've ever played. It's just phenomenal character. Um, Sid and oh my God, what's his brother's name again? Joshua. Both really, really good. It just gets better and better. And one complaint I had before that did change is the side quests have gotten much, much better. There's some really good side quests I've done now that relate to the characters back at the hideaway with you. And you learn a lot about them and you travel different places, do a lot of cool stuff. So that's actually gotten way better. I've been doing all the side quests still for that reason. As for the combat, I always thought the combat was good, but I started feeling it was repetitive, right? So I've been just fighting the story battles and the bosses, which is still a lot, and side quest battles. And I find that I'm enjoying the combat way more now. It doesn't feel repetitive. Yeah, it's still pretty much the same thing, but it's up to you. Like I've been now trying to switch different icons more, and that kind of keeps things fresh,
I found it easy. Can you up the difficulty? I don't remember.
I don't remember it either, but where I'm at now, I've definitely died a handful of times. Like it's definitely gotten harder. There are some really, especially if you do all the side quests, and even the boss battles can have gotten pretty challenging. So yeah, it's definitely increasing in difficulty.
Okay.
I'm level 35 right now. No. Level 39 right now. And the level cap was 50 by the time the game's over. I have about 7 mainline missions left. Granted, each one of the missions are pretty beefy, and plus any other side quests. So I went from like, I don't know, mission number, 17 or 18 to like now I'm at like 40-ish or something like that. Like I just went crazy. I woke up on Saturday morning, I played a ton. Kids go to bed at night, I play some more. Yes, Sunday, same thing. I don't know, I couldn't put it down. I was enjoying it so much, So I'm actually really happy that I gave it another shot because now I'm way into it. And I did unfortunately read a spoiler, and I'm really freaking annoyed about it. About something with the ending. Yeah, I'm still gonna enjoy it, but it kind of takes a little.
All right, well, don't tell me.
No, I'm not. But man, I did. Well, I guess I should just say let's say for the next minute, just in case, could be spoilers for Final Fantasy.
Well, okay? I don't want to hear this.
No. I'm. It's not gonna be a spoiler unless I know that you've done it too. I'm gonna verify with you. All right. Okay, so let's say 2 minutes. Okay. So first of all, do you remember the last thing that you did in the game in general?
I'm aware that. Okay. If that's what you're wondering.
So, yeah. So,
you've
seen him. Perfect. Okay. So, that being said, one of my absolute favorite moments in the storyline is like when they truly like. It's like a really powerful scene. Very, very well done. Felt like I was watching a movie or something.
It's like the icons are sort of present as they're talking and all that.
Yeah. Sure. Yep. Thought it was really, really good. And there's just a great character. Like he's another one that is way up there for me. Even some of the supporting characters, like some of the heads.
Now, where I left off was like very soon after this realization.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know much more than the fact of I know, but at the time, I don't know if run is Louis Rush or given a cold shoulder, but he was a little weird.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, now no more spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I've come around in the game a lot, a whole lot. And again, it's a strange thing because I still have my complaints about the game. Some of them have been fixed. Side quests have gotten much better. I think I kind of shifted my thinking a little bit in terms of what I would expect from Final Fantasy and what did I expect from this game on its own, and that helped me to kind of enjoy it much more. So yeah, I'm definitely loving it. I'm gonna try to see if I can beat it by next week. So we'll see.
So yeah, big problem was side quest. Now you say side quests got better.
Yeah.
Meaning what? Like the people that you meet in these side quests have interesting stories or something?
So they've gotten better in the sense that
because they were just fetch quests. Hey, go like gather this, bring it back to me. Cool. Here's some gil, and that's about it.
Yep. Some of them were definitely fetch quests in the beginning, and not to say that there's 0 fetch quests now. There still are. However, a lot of the good ones are stuff like this. Let me give you an idea of a good one. So there's a character. This is not a spoiler, but the blacksmith that works for you. He's like very like stoic, like tough guy. Hey, what do you want? That kind of thing. And he's very, very much into his craft, you know, like
Yeah.
obviously what he does. And through conversations with him, you realize how seriously he takes it and how that's his whole life's purpose and yada yada, all that, right? There are now 4 missions I've done relating to him where you kind of dig into a lot of his background and his history, and you learn
Okay.
about where he came from, and you help him solve some problems he's personally dealing with and things. And they do that with not just him. Like there's been multiple characters where I'm learning more about their past and different people they dealt with and before they got to the hideaway and how they came to the hideaway and so on. So these things make me love it way more. And then you have ones that are very simple. Hey, I need this whatever this thing to make something from some enemy or something, but the enemies are really crazy, really cool battles, So
Okay.
even those, they make up for it by being really challenging, fun battles. And then lastly, some of the side quests that I've been doing now, they are almost essential because they give you big upgrades, not just normal, here's some money, here's some crafting items, but no, like big things that change the game entirely, like they affect something in some way that will permanently change. So they've gotten much better. And to
Okay,
be
cool.
honest, I was gonna do them no matter what, just because I'm like that. But I'm glad I've been doing all of them because I can 100% say I almost wish they started with better side quests and be it, so people don't lose the idea that they're gonna get better eventually, But
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely 100% do. So
Okay. So yeah, in its RPG-ness, it may be
right,
lacking, but the fact that
yes,
the pros just went so much even higher,
yep.
that any cons that you had just sort of fall to the wayside just because you like what you like so much.
I think that's it. And again, I'm not sitting here saying it doesn't have problems. We clearly it has problems, right? The RPG stuff is pretty much non-existent. I'll for sure say that. To me, it feels like a really good action game that's very long, good story, good characters, good music, and a really good combat system, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I mean, it's a life mission of mine, as corny as that sounds, to play through and beat
yeah,
all the Final Fantasies.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm gonna have to play this anyway. So, I long story
yeah,
short, I'm gonna get around to it. I'll play it. I'm glad to hear that you're liking it more and more as you go and
yeah,
coming around
yeah,
on it. So that's cool.
yeah, man. Definitely have come around on it quite a bit. So pretty happy about that. So yeah.
Well, once you beat it, let us know.
Sure.
Give a number score on it, and
Overall
I'd
rating, yeah.
be curious of what it would be.
I'll tell you right now, it's definitely not going to be a 10 out of 10. There's no way. The game has definitely big problems. However, yeah, I think it'll be up there, but we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see how the last stretch goes.
So this was probably 2 weeks ago. I just forgot to mention it, but I was watching Severance and finished the first season.
Oh, nice.
You're
Okay,
aware of
good.
this? Have you watched
Yep,
this?
yep. I watched it.
Oh, okay, okay. What'd you think? I loved it. I mean, I
I
think
thought it
this
was
is
great.
like,
Very
I don't
cool,
know.
very trippy, kind of messes with your head with the idea of
Mhm.
things going on and everything. Yeah, yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, it's right
Um,
up my alley. This is the stuff that I want to watch. So, anybody have any recommendations of things like this? Let me know,
like
because I'm
Severance.
always just where you're questioning reality and all of that
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff. It's really cool.
So the one little, just the funny thing I noticed is on Twitter, there is a Lumen Twitter page or something like the company that he works for, and they'll post updates, but they're like in character. Like it's almost like the company,
Okay.
the actual company. It's really funny. I just saw it on my like people you may know or whatever thing, and I clicked it, and then it's like every update is like some sort of like, oh, Lumen will change your life. Come sign up for Severance. And I'm like, what the heck? This is funny. So yeah,
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Solid like 9 out of 10 for me. I see a lot of promise in what they're gonna go forward because with the way it ended, I'm not gonna spoil it, but now it's almost like, let's say, Death Stranding, the way it ended of like, okay, well now we know the reality of everything. We got some sort of conclusion here, but now I'm incredibly curious since you're deciding to keep going, what possibly can you do? Because again, why I bring up Death Stranding is because I was thinking, well, you have the sequel coming out, but we kind of already like it was all building up to, okay, now we understand how everything works, and so what more can you really tell us to show us?
hmm
So I'm very curious of how a sequel is going to, like, what is the game even going to be about now at this point? Same thing here with Severance is like, Well, it's not like, I mean, I guess you can go back to just showing how things were, but we kind of like, how do you keep going with the show? I'm very lost on that. So I kept looking into it, found that they're going to be doing new characters in the second season,
Yeah, I
but
don't.
they're still going to have the old cast a part of it as well. I'm very curious how this is going to go.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very curious as well. I don't know when the new season's coming back, but I am definitely looking forward to it. So
Yeah.
whenever that is.
And then I finished a big part of One Piece to where if anyone watched it, there's a whole big long saga of like them up in the sky. Skypiea, I want to say is the name of it. I don't know, but all that finish and they're back on land again, and that's when they go up and they have this big epic conclusion with like fighting God and all of this craziness. And so I just finished that whole arc. Man, I'm definitely on board. I'm definitely weeping out hard over One Piece. So
That's
just
awesome.
wanted to mention that.
We've gotten to the point now where people are recommending One Piece to me, not knowing that it's an anime. Like people I work with, so funny. Like, have you ever heard of this show One Piece? I'm like, oh, have I? So funny.
Yeah, it's just weird because it's been around for so long, and I'm just now
Right.
just like, all right. I was avoiding it at all costs, and I finally just gave in. So there's that.
Sure.
It's good.
Sure.
Really like it. Do new game watch, and we'll get out of here.
Oh,
Just
hold on,
it.
Tim. I'm
What's up?
sorry. One last thing. Just want to mention it. I just started last night, but I was tired, so I fell asleep. There's a show on HBO Max called Scavenger's Reign. It's an animated show. It looks sort of like the same sort of style as like Invincible, like the same
Okay.
sort of animation. It's supposed to be phenomenal. Got like a 10 from IGN. All these other websites give it high ratings. It's 12 episodes. They're like 25 minutes each. All I've seen so far, it seems to be taking place in some sort of future space kind of thing going on. Yeah, I don't know much more about it than that, but it's
All
getting
right.
super
What is
high
it
praise.
called
So,
again?
Scavenger's Reign, and it's on HBO, or excuse me, Max. Let's say
Okay.
it's
Hey,
supposed to be
I'll
really,
watch
really
it
good.
tonight. I'll
So,
see. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna check out an episode tonight.
Okay.
See what I think. But anyway, just want to throw that in there.
Okay. So Jozetsu Kaisen Curse Clash comes out all platforms February 2nd. Persona 3 Reload, all platforms but Switch, February 2nd. You know, Persona 3 Reload, maybe it's just a matter of like, it's just going to take more time. But why isn't this on Switch? Because Persona 5's on Switch. They were able to
Right.
do it. This is the same engine as that.
I
So
almost
it's
forgot that.
it's either two reasons. One, either they just didn't have the time and you have to put in some more effort there to get it going good on Switch, or maybe Persona 3 Reload is actually an evolution from just Persona 5 Reload. What's the Royal? Even the Royal edition's on Switch. So like either this is even a more amped up version of that engine that just can't run on Switch, or maybe they plan on releasing it on Switch too and just being an easier process there. Maybe they already knew they were going to do that. They just haven't announced the Switch 2 yet, so they can't say anything. Or it's just a matter of maybe we'll just get it a few months later. I don't know. Either way, Persona 3 is my favorite in the series. I'm so happy it's just around the corner here, coming out Friday. So, and again, I got Game Pass, so I'll just be playing that when it comes
Yep.
out, and I'm super super hyped on that.
Yep.
One of
Yep.
my favorite video games ever being remade. I always got to jump on
That's
that.
very cool.
Yeah, yeah. Suicide Squad Kill the
Suicide
Justice League
Squad.
also comes out Friday. Apparently they're not releasing review codes till it comes out, so that's definitely not a good sign there.
I don't know what to think.
I just saw a story
Truly don't
saying when
know.
it launches, the online's not going to be functional, and this is an online service game. So how do you even do that? But
Well, I saw an article that said Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League pulled offline an hour after launch due to a bug that completes the entire story as soon as you start
oh
playing.
god,
So early access is maybe not going the best so far. I want this game to be good, truly. I just don't know what to expect. I have a bad feeling that it's not going to be good. So I'm not jumping on this
It
until
may be fun to play. Maybe that is the case just because of like the team behind it. But I
right.
think I'm assuming the bigger problem is just going to be nobody wants this type of game, and we don't want to be roaming around a city playing as whoever and just doing some generic leveling up or something. Like, we
Mm.
want a game that plays and functions and looks like this in a more like linear single player narrative sort of thing, not some, oh, it may be fun to play and it may look cool and the world building may be impressive, but I'm imagining people will just not like all of the live service stuff. That's how I'm seeing how this is going to turn out, but we'll see.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Curious to see.
Vampire the Masquerade Justice coming out on PC February 2nd. Foam Stars PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 February 6th. And Helldivers 2 PlayStation 5 and PC February 8th. I'm a little interested in Helldivers 2. I don't
Yeah.
know if I want to like go buy day one or anything, but I don't know. I
That
got a good feeling about that game.
that one, if you do end up at some point getting it, I'll get it too, because that seems like a fun game to play together. And I've been wanting to find something
Yeah,
co-op, if we can play together at one point. So
exactly. That'd be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't have anything more to add, we'll get out of here.
Yes, just know that I'm pretty sure by next week I'll be done with Final Fantasy, and maybe I'll have Tim take off his headphones for a minute and say how annoyed I am at the spoiler that I will discuss at that time. So, but for me, it's like it's the journey, It's okay. I don't know. No, not now, not now.
No,
You come back. No, 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 no. I'm just saying next week when I finish
okay,
it.
okay.
But I'm trying to think of how much fun I've had working my way up to the end. So it's okay.
Okay. Well, I'm still working my way through the original on NES, by the way. It is
Oh, nice.
definitely one of the hardest things I may have ever done. If it was emulated and I could just like fast forward and just grind for a bit, sure, it'd be fine. Because I could just probably gain like 10 levels and the game would be a lot easier. I have to like actually earn it, and it's so hard to level up in this game because you have to go pretty far away from something to like start fighting good enough monsters, and then also make your way back to town or have enough money, like 1,000 down, to put down on a cabin or something, just so you can heal your party again. So it gets really difficult on like having to be able to level up to get strong enough just so you can go into a new area without just getting demolished. So I'm having a really difficult time with that, but because of all that, everything is so rewarding and such like a struggle to get. It reminds me of when I was playing, which I really, really loved because of the exact same reason. It was like Shin Megami Tensei 4, and I think 5's even better. But that has a similar thing to where like it is really hard to earn experience in this game. And the challenges are pretty in depth, but if you can somehow push your way through it, it's totally ends up being worth it in the end. And that's kind of how I'm feeling with this original Final Fantasy. So I just wanted to mention that I'm still working my way through there, because
Okay.
again, I want to play and beat them all, and I would like to. I've already played 4 like many times, but it's still been maybe 10 years since I've actually last played it, and it's one of my favorite Final Fantasy. So I'm even thinking go back just to even play that. I need to also finish 6 first. So it's like 1 and 6. Once I beat those 2, I'm thinking of what I'm going to play next, maybe 5. And what would be cool if I could just get one of those like modified, like I want to actually be able to put it in my Super Nintendo, but they have like reproduction cards to where it's like in English, but I could put it in my system and play it that way. I think that'd be really neat because I never actually play a Final Fantasy 5. So I think that'd
Gotcha.
be cool to do. And I'm
Okay,
probably going
there
to
you
do
go.
that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right, man.
we're out of here.
See ya.
Bye.